So first,
Absolutely.
and I was
Let's dig it all up.
oh, no.
True.
You'll never guess.
So sidebar. Yes.
And also, I feel like I shouldn't have to remember everything.
I know.
Actually, I have to talk about this.
3, 2, 1.
Hi, everyone.
Hey.
I'm Alicia.
And I'm Meredith.
And this is also podcast in the city edition. And you might think, oh, because Alicia and Meredith are in the city. No. That's the name of a show on Bravo that we are now covering because it's a Summer House spinoff. And like, I'm pro let the shows die, but we don't. We now have thousands of shows we watch. We started with one. I don't know how we got here, but I am excited to watch these people that I've known and loved to be in a city instead of the Hamptons.
I am excited. I am curious specifically about Lindsay Hubbard's life in the city.
Can I tell you what I'm most excited for?
What?
I'm most excited to, in this first episode, tell you my initial reads on these people because I did no research into them besides what you posted, and even that went in my brain and out somehow. And I'm excited to see what, where I end on a lot of these people, because for Summer House and Vanderpump Rules, we had an idea of these people going in
100%.
initially.
Wait, we're going to do that for sure. And I'm going to make you do the graph that we do at the end of seasons after this first episode. Yeah. And then we're going to see where it does end up at the end of the season.
Yeah, I think it's fascinating because I always go in very I'm definitive on people, and I'm so wrong sometimes. Anyway, before we jump into the episode, we have an Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Patreon. All the links are in our description, and please be sure to rate, review, and subscribe. Okay, let's jump to In the City, which we've already covered the first 5 minutes and 43 seconds on Summer House, but we're going to do it again. Okay, so In the City starts with Kyle and Amanda saying goodbye in the Hamptons, and they drive off in separate cars, which has never happened before. Now, if you're just jumping into In the City and you haven't watched Summer House, Kyle and Amanda, they're married. They've been married for 4 years. They have been together for 10. Since the beginning, it was a terrible relationship. This was just so inevitable. Terrible. This should have happened 3 years ago, probably, but
this should happen before the engagement. They have never not fought on our screens.
Yeah, even when she was a side piece. The side chick or whatever. Yeah. Okay, so Kyle never saw his life like this. He might lose Amanda and everything that matters to him. And the other thing that matters to him is his company, which is going bankrupt.
Well, and his DJ career, which is actually doing well.
No, I think he was going to save that no matter what. But the future looks lonely. And then we're driving into New York City. Amanda's in the car. She's saying she can't imagine her life without Kyle, but she's not sure if she can fix this relationship. Something has to change. So then we do this fun thing where we get a bunch of dates because a bunch of shit happened when the cameras were down.
Oh my God. I can't imagine what this would have hit like had the Summer House scandal not happen.
Ooh, like the beginning of In the City?
Yeah, because January Us in 2026, Kyle and Amanda announced their divorce. We're all like, hell yeah, Amanda, separate from that man. This drive into the city, I was already excited for. We never get to see them leave the Hamptons at the end of the summer. The cameras just go down and that's it. But now it's ooh, we're going back to the city. She's a free woman. That would have hit so hard.
But yet it's one of those things where you just kind of blow up your own life. You spit in your own mouth, if you will. They're spitting in each other's mouth. What a fun time. Doesn't matter. Go watch Summer House. I don't know why you're here if you haven't watched Summer House. But we get to January 2026. Kyle and Amanda announce that they're getting divorced. In February 2026, Amanda is on Watch What Happens Live with Sierra, her supposed best friend. And she's saying that out of her and Kyle, she will be the first to date. In March 2026, Kyle is on Watch What Happens Live because he's asked about rumors about Amanda and this other Summer House housemate, West, who is Sierra's ex. And there's rumors going on that Wes and Amanda are together. And Kyle's like, there's no merit to those rumors. And then Wes is on Watch What Happens Live. And he says him and Amanda are just friends. And then it comes out that Wes and Amanda, in a joint statement, we find out that they are together. And the joint statement was written by these two idiots. And it shows.
It was so bad. And the fact that it was 6-7 days after Wes' denial on Watch What Happens Live, that was a crazy whirlwind of events.
So it's April 9th, 2026. Kyle is in his old apartment that he used to share with Amanda, but now it's just his new apartment, solo dolo. And Amanda shows
Weird.
up, and she's very skinny. She's not eating, which isn't great.
She's been getting smaller over the years, though, too. But
Yeah,
it's
it's
like
not.
very bad. You can tell, like, she's clearly been on an emotional journey for a bit.
Yeah, it also brings me back to in Summer House when she had a wing and she just licked the blue cheese off of it. Just eat the wing, you know what I mean? But I think
Yeah, but you see Kyle here also, like, asking how she is and noticing she's frail. Like, he does genuinely care about
he's
her.
very worried. He though was not doing well either. He joined a new gym and he hurt his back. So it's time
Same,
to chat.
same, you know?
It's time to chat. They sit on the couch. They have kept in touch because Kyle wants to be there for Amanda because she is getting a lot of blowback from the public and she does suffer from anxiety and depression. And he says, looking back on the summer, though, it does seem like Amanda knew she was done with him. And Amanda
Yeah.
says that's very frustrating because she gave this relationship everything she had and she really wanted it to work so badly. And
Which, like,
she didn't want to call it
Amanda.
quits in the summer. And she doesn't want to live without Kyle, but she like had to do this.
Girl, you need to have the self-reflection to say, yeah, I was definitely done. My actions were showing I was done last summer, and I just wasn't ready to rip the Band-Aid off. Come on. It's a year later. You hate that man.
You've hated him.
You hated
at
him.
least this
And
whole
listen,
summer.
rightfully
get it.
so. I am still on Amanda's side that Kyle treated her like shit.
For sure. I'm still
So
on the
own
side
your part.
of, I've been saying that for many a seasons, and I can't care more than her. So if she chooses to stay,
Very good
I
point.
choose to not care. Anyway, Kyle says he can pinpoint instances over the summer where Amanda was fully out the door. And Amanda says in her squeaky, annoying, fucking voice, she goes, I was done to an extent. I was tired. I had nothing else to fight for. Actually, that was really good what I just did there.
You crushed that.
That was pretty good.
She gets so defensive and she's like
She-
sobbing.
Yeah, it's like that high, squeaky, like almost whiny, but she's yelling at you because she's defending
Yes.
herself. It's very
She's like
strange.
scolding him for him pointing out her own behavior.
Yeah. So Kyle asks if Amanda can honestly say that even around Thanksgiving, there was no emotional affair. And Amanda says nothing happened, assumably with Wes. And she was committed to Kyle, and it hurts that he's questioning her faithfulness because that's
Which
not
I'm
the
like-
type of person she is.
What happened at Thanksgiving? Why did we say Thanksgiving?
I also love when Amanda's like, I would never cheat on you. That's not who I am. You've cheated on me. Like, that's the type of person you are. And Kyle's like, I had a one night stand, and he was about to go into how, like, it was before they were married. And Amanda's like, Kyle, you made out with someone when we were married. And Kyle goes, says who? And she goes, there's a video. And Kyle says, okay.
That man is not willing to fight with her about this. This came up at the Summer House reunion too. Her saying he cheated. Everybody knows. Show me the proof.
Release the video. Release the tapes. There's a tape. You already outed
Because
him.
if it's that one in Charleston, it's grainy as hell. So you can't sit there and definitively say that he cheated on you. And to be honest, Amanda, your reputation's pretty shot. So, like, without proof, let's stop making comments like this.
Also, like, I get if you're still married to him, you don't want that video to get out there because, like, that's embarrassing for your marriage.
100%.
Y'all are divorced. Who cares? Who cares what this man, like,
Release
what
the tapes.
perception we have of him? You know what I mean? Kyle says he knows Amanda's not a bad person, but she was reckless and thoughtless. But he's still trying to be a good friend to Amanda because he's worried about her. Amanda appreciates that. Kyle says everything that happens here forward is because he cares about Amanda, but he doesn't want to rekindle things. And she's like, I don't want to rekindle things too. Actually, she says, I feel the same fucking way. And Kyle's just upset that someone else gets the version of Amanda that he fell in love with. Okay.
Wait, that actually made me so sad.
Yeah.
But, like, that's why
Yuck
you
to
don't
both.
break your wife for 10 years.
Yuck to both. So I don't have enough emotional energy anymore, okay? I have been in this scandal long enough. So we now rewind the tapes to September 2025, 7 months before April. We are in New York City. we are at Lindsay's apartment and we
Hell yeah.
see Gemma, the most beautiful baby I've ever seen.
Oh my God. I'm so happy she got Turner to sign off on that.
Yeah. So since becoming a mom, Lindsay is in chaos, okay? But there's no question that Gemma is her daughter. They have the same death stare.
Yes,
and I bet
they do.
they're going to be equally high maintenance, which I love.
100%. Lindsay, come on. Lindsay Hubbard raised us, and look at us. Imagine
Look at
having
us.
24/7 access to Lindsay Hubbard. Like, she is a wizard.
She's insane. So
Yeah.
all her friends are entering different stages of adulthood. Lindsay is in the stage where she's a mom and she hasn't had sex for 9 months. And at this point, she's never going to have sex again.
Brutal.
Which is crazy because Lindsay, we have seen her have sex and heard her many a times on literally
She's a freak.
just for the summer.
Yeah.
She's a freak.
Yeah.
She wants to get laid. Someone lay her.
And, like, no shade to that. Go
No.
off, my queen.
Where are these men? Who's denying her?
Turner.
Besides him. Ugh.
Carl.
Also besides him. Ugh. But she could literally, she's so hot. Just go up to any man and be like, you.
I know,
Let's
but
do it.
we've seen that Lindsay said we're going to see her dating life on In the City.
I
So I'm
can't
like,
wait.
let's get this girl back out there. Obviously, we're not going to have 24/7 surveillance. I don't need to see Lindsay
I don't
having
need it.
sex anymore, but I need to know that she is having sex.
So Lindsay loves being a mom, but she wouldn't be able to get through this past year without her support system, including her nanny Liz. Thank
Hell
God
yeah.
for nannies. And her girlfriends, Yvonne. So Yvonne and Lindsay have been best friends for 13 years. Yvonne actually milked Lindsay's boob the day Lindsay got broken up with by Turner.
And that's on friendship,
Mhm.
because I would never.
So Yvonne is married to Nick, who's also on the show.
Yes.
We have all these new characters.
I know. I'm curious why they didn't tell us how Lindsay and Yvonne met, because I want to know their backstory. This is one of the longest dating friendships
Yeah.
on the show. So, and it's before Lindsay went on Summer House. So,
Mhm.
like, they know each other well and have been through thick and thin. We've seen Yvonne on Summer House whenever Carl and Lindsay got engaged.
Mhm.
She was on it this past season 10 a little bit. Like, I'm excited to see their dynamic the most.
So off the bat, I've loved Lindsay since she came onto my TV screen. I'm obsessed with her. Yvonne, I like so far.
Okay.
I'm feeling Yvonne. I'm
Okay.
iffy on her husband Nick, which then also makes me like a little iffy on Yvonne because you're married,
her.
so I have to question.
Yeah.
I'm iffy on Nick. We'll find out later, but he doesn't seem to want the same things Yvonne wants.
I agree.
So I'm
their
just a little
their
iffy.
dynamic. I'm worried
Yeah.
about.
So then we also have her friend Georgina. So this is Lindsay's other best friend, and she's a dermatologist. She's also a parent, so she's a mom friend. Basically, Georgina, when she was 32 weeks pregnant, she had a dog, a toddler, a broken ankle in New York City winter, and her ex left her. Fuck you, bro.
Wait, I'm like, again, let's dive into this a little bit more. Who the fuck is that man who leaves their partner while they're 32 weeks pregnant and a broken ankle and a toddler?
She
and
says,
it's winter.
she says she's surprised she's not on Snapped, which was the funniest thing.
So funny. I am like, oh my God, I feel seen. This might be my favorite girl thus far.
Okay, yes, off the bat, I really like Georgina. I really enjoy her like natural kind of chaos that she has.
Same.
But it's very
And
organized.
honesty.
It's honest. Yeah, I really like her. Okay, but Lindsay just wants to show Gemma what a strong female role model looks like. Great. So now we go. I love that we're getting all the neighborhoods. I love it. So we're going to
I love the transitions of this.
same. We're going to Greenwich Village, okay? Amanda and Lindsay are grocery store shopping because, as we know, they've gotten very close on this season of the city,
Mm-hmm.
which they now probably are not as close. But
I get it. I mean, you've got your other reality TV skilled person to do scenes with. That's natural. That's easy for them. I'm sure it takes a lot more legwork when you're filming with people who've never done this before.
100%. Gemma loves the grocery store. I love that because I want to learn as much as possible about Gemma. So now I know she loves the grocery store.
Big grocery store gal.
Amanda asks if Gemma eats squeezable meats. It's like beef in a bag because Amanda's
Okay.
dogs love them. And then we can cue Gemma's death stare for Amanda asking that.
Was she asking about it, the beef, or what? Did she have a beef one in her hand? I just assumed it had to be the applesauce, the
I
generic
thought it was
pouch.
applesauce, but then she said it's beef in a bag.
Gross. Don't do that to my girl Gemma. She can have applesauce, she can have fruits, she can have smoothie ones. Leave the beef alone.
Well, Lindsay was like, no, Gemma does not do that.
No.
Thank you, though.
I don't feed that to my daughter.
Okay, so Amanda and Lindsay haven't seen each other since they left the house. Amanda tells Lindsay she stayed in a hotel for 2 nights after they left separately, and Lindsay is shook. She had no idea.
Yeah. I loved her reaction to this. Incredible. I just love having Lindsay in the city.
Agreed. Amanda and Kyle are going to couples counseling, and their counselor said, or made a comment to them, quote, "You guys hate each other." And I was like, someone who you hired for 5 whole minutes clocked that immediately. Insane.
But, I mean, we saw in Summer House when Amanda told their quote-unquote love story with no love in it, the therapist was like, when did you fall in love? When did you guys like each other?
No, literally.
They're doomed.
If the therapist is saying there's really no hope, I would assume you guys should just get divorced.
Yeah.
So Amanda and Kyle talked in the park after therapy, and he made a comment about how she should get her own place. So then we cue the clip because cameras were rolling, and Amanda is yelling at Kyle in the park about how she doesn't want to be with someone who shows no hope of change. And Kyle says he can't be around in the home and around Amanda if this continues. And Amanda says, your solution is that I should move out. And I was like, funny how when she relays it to Lindsay, she's saying, Kyle told me to move out. Whereas Kyle's just saying, if you're going to keep doing this, I can't be around you. And Amanda's like, so you want me to move out?
Which is crazy because it also sounds like then it's Kyle's idea to move out. When Sierra approached the topic first, Amanda was on board this summer. And now that Kyle has something to say about it, it's like, how dare he? But you were allowed to say it all summer.
Also, you already left for a hotel for a little bit. So like,
you've crazy.
Been out. Yeah, you've been out. Lindsay says to Amanda that her and Kyle haven't really been partners for a long time, and Kyle probably has resentment that has grown over many years, and they're just tackling it now, and it might be too late. To which Amanda does a soft little smile, and she's like, "Oops." I hate when she's
what
like
did she
not
think
concerned.
was going to happen?
She's not concerned ever about her relationship
because she wants out. You're right. She's Katie Holmesing him, which you talked about all Summer House season, and I think she wants Kyle to be the one to break it off, so then she can be the most victim. Like, she doesn't do anything wrong in this.
She's preparing the document. She's laying the groundwork so all their friends will side with her. She's making sure the audience, which we would have, was going to side with her. She is fully laying that groundwork. Okay, so then we go to Central Park with Andrea and Lexi, okay?
Thrilled to have these two.
My Italian stallion is back.
Yep.
Andrea loves love, and Lexi is his princess. And may I just say, this couple is so hot. It's like so hot.
It's crazy that we've never actually really met Lexi. We know so much about her because Andre talked about her on his last season when he was ending things with Paige and then wanted to go chase Lexi.
Yes.
And then because we're just so obsessed with Andrea, like through social media, we know her.
Yeah. I love Andrea. I honestly have zero opinion on Lexi so far. Besides that she's married to Andrea, I love.
She seems very dull, I'm gonna be honest. She's gorgeous. They're magazine cover worthy.
Wow.
But I'm gonna need something here from you guys. I don't really want to see them fighting as a couple. I don't really want to see them fighting with other people, so I don't know what they're gonna do for me.
Interested to see what happens when the drama starts. Lexi, I feel like we know Andrea. He'll get like maybe a little involved, maybe not, but he's definitely going to be like a good friend to people and be involved that way. I'm iffy on Lexi. She's just going to sit there and do nothing, say nothing, be friends with no one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she's just going to be like paint drying.
Yeah, like whether she's there or not, I won't even notice. And we all know I have a total issue with noticing blonde women and remembering their names. So this is just
100%.
If she's not giving me anything, I'm going to forget she's there.
That's a really good point. I think I am going to forget that she's a cast member.
Yep. They did get married in an Italian castle. Lindsay and Kyle went. Kyle went by himself.
Crazy.
Danielle and baby Gemma was also there, but no one
I
really
think
knew.
that's so funny that it's like, hey girl, Gemma's right in there.
Gemma's in there. And Danielle caught the bouquet.
That's crazy. I didn't know any of that happened
Me neither.
at Andrea's wedding. I don't think I tracked it enough to know Amanda didn't go.
Agreed.
And that Danielle caught the bouquet, which I don't believe in those superstition things, but
I don't
off.
think the Danielle part matters, but it's surprising I missed that Amanda wasn't there. You know what I mean?
I find that rude.
That
Like,
was
this is
shocking. That was
somebody
shocking.
you've known for years.
When he said that, I was like, really? I don't even care about Danielle at this point. I was
wanna
like,
know
go
why.
back. Yeah. So then we go to tennis courts. We have Danielle back on our screen. She is labeled as a influencer / founder. Founder of what is my question.
One might ask, founder of what?
We've been asking, and we still don't
And we still don't know.
So Danielle, very bad at tennis, okay? She says it's an expensive sport, but she has a coach for free. It's her boyfriend, Owen, spelled Eon, but pronounced Owen. That's awesome for me.
I'm like, where the fuck did this man pop up? I didn't know she was dating anybody.
Yeah. He is an Irish tennis player. They met 9 years ago. Life happened. They didn't date, but they rekindled when Owen slid back in her DMs, which Instagram is a dating app. Prove me wrong at this
100%.
point.
But what this reminded me of most is this is exactly what happened to Lindsay and Turner.
What? He slid in her DMs after.
They dated, like 7 years later, he slid back into her DMs. Or I think they might have run into each other, but either way, they like circled back around.
Oh.
Started dating again, got pregnant. We know Danielle's currently pregnant in real life.
Look at that. It's like a mirror. That's crazy.
I mean, Danielle had a lot to say about Lindsay. I'm like, you're living the exact same life
crazy.
she did.
Yeah. So they chat. They want to do a lot of things before they have babies. That's
what? I'm like, why are we already on babies? I just met this man.
Danielle is turning 37 this year, and she wants to have a baby by 38. So we don't have a lot of time to do things before babies.
No, and she got that baby.
But
I'm
Owen,
like, whoa.
Owen wants to do that with Danielle. He is excited to impregnate her. He doesn't say that, but that's what's implied.
That's the vibe.
She wants to be engaged before he impregnates her. They've been together for 6 months so far. They started living together after 1 month, and Danielle says it is fast, but it feels right. Which I'll say right off the bat, I have mixed feelings about Danielle. Okay, I get that she's cuckoo bananas and like terrible in a lot of ways. There's also a level of like representation matters, and I like understand
100%.
Danielle in a lot of ways. And so there's been moments that Danielle has talked about things and I've connected. That being said, I don't want to be friends with Danielle. Am I thrilled she's
agree.
back? I'm kind of indifferent. This though, talking about her life and being like, yeah, it's fast, but it's right after the shit she pulled is so crazy to me.
I couldn't agree more. I know you have talked a lot about on our podcast, the representation means so much to you. Mad respect, totally understand that. I think the Danielle hate was very forced prior to the Lindsay and Danielle issues.
Yes.
When it comes to Danielle as a friend, I couldn't agree with you more that like she is not a good friend often. And it's hard to be reintroduced to her with this like hypocritical storyline. It already turns me off.
Yeah. And if I'm going to pick one person on the Summer House in the City Cast to save, it's Lindsay. If we're in a burning, I save Lindsay always. Yeah. So speaking of, they bring up Lindsay to talk about. And Lindsay doesn't know Owen. She doesn't know anything about what's happening in Danielle's life because they haven't spoken in 4 months. Danielle did meet baby Gemma at the beginning of baby Gemma's life, but Danielle feels like she was then ghosted by Lindsay in their friendship, and now it's just like awkward. That's like, going to be a storyline.
Yeah, and I mean, I could assume why. I didn't know that they hadn't been speaking, but like that tracks.
I get it.
Like I watched the show. Did you?
I get it. So then we go to Tribeca, okay, which when I moved here, a lovely white woman told me she nicknamed it Tribecky, so that's fun.
Oh, I just always think of on Real Housewives of New York, the reboot, somebody was like, it's an up and coming area.
Tribeca is so up and coming. It's already up and it came, dude. It's like the richest place to live in New York. It's like
Yeah,
beating out the
yeah.
Upper East Side at this point.
It's like,
Jesus.
what? I don't
Okay,
even live in New York and I know that.
so Kyle is meeting up with his friend Kenny. Off the bat, I hate Kenny.
Really?
Oh,
What specifically?
he has bad vibes everything I learn about him as we're about to talk with him and Kyle, I don't like. And he's just like a better version of Kyle, and I don't really like Kyle, but Kyle's at least drunk and fun. Kenny so far has given me nothing like redeeming. So episode 1, I'm
Okay.
not a fan of Kenny.
I hear you on that. The like comparison to Kyle.
He's like
I
a
tracked
richer
as well.
Kyle.
Less fun though.
So far, yeah.
Yeah. What I do like about him is I do always think I need somebody to hate. So I think he's
Okay,
going
sure.
to fill that void for me. And he doesn't seem overly toxic yet. That could change a whole bunch. But I was like, okay, here's a douchebag I can hate.
I would assume, though, I am going to say this. I do think I'm making an assumption, but knowing what I know about the Summer House cast, a lot of them have like similar morals and like agree with important things that we do. And
Yeah.
I can't imagine that Kyle would be very good friends with someone who like disagrees that much about like human rights and shit. So
That's a good
I
point.
think Kenny is probably better than like the people on Southern Charm. So like shout out Kenny. But
Good
I think
point.
as like a person, Kenny seems like a giant fucking douchebag, and honestly is probably gonna make Kyle look really good in my eyes again.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
I think that Kenny's but he's gonna be a great character to hate, and I'm sure he's an actually good person. I'll preface, I think all these people are probably great people.
Yeah.
That can't be said on every Bravo show, but I think these people are good. I just don't think I want to be near Kenny. Like, I think my eyes would roll into the back of my head if I had to listen to Kenny speak.
Yeah, I just think I'm going to enjoy disliking him and not in the way of, like, disliking Jax Taylor or Craig Conover. Like, I think I'm going to genuinely enjoy.
Like, he'll be a little funny,
mad.
but a big douchebag. Okay.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Like, I'm not looking forward to that. So hopefully he doesn't cross the line.
So Kenny is a venture capitalist off the board. Kyle and Kenny met through mutual friends. Kenny is a work hard, play hard type of guy.
Oh my God. When they said it at the exact same time, I was like, stop.
And Kenny describes Kyle as a lush and hard to tame, which he fucking yuck this guy already. So Kenny's like,
I know who Kyle is. I know.
Don't
He's
waste your breath. Yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
So Kenny, he wants to know what's going on with Loverboy because he is an investor, okay? And boys talk about business. That's what boys do at lunch. We don't gossip. We talk about the stock market. That's what we got to know.
I can't believe Kenny is an investor in Loverboy.
I know that Kenny sat down and he went, "What's up with my money? What's up with the business?"
Yeah, I haven't gotten any information from you guys, Kyle. And Kyle's like, "Sorry, I'm behind on it. I didn't really want to say anything."
Yeah, he's like, Loverboy, though, struggling. So basically, we find out Kenny, he used to work on Wall Street. He did really well. He's from Michigan, so Midwest, yay.
Hell yeah.
And he says he never expected the life he has now. 6 years ago, he left Wall Street, started a venture capital firm. He invested in Loverboy at the very first raise. And Kenny is telling Kyle to sell the company. Punt it, is what he says. And Kyle's like, I would if I could.
That Kyle wants to, but like clearly he has had no buyer. And this is the first time it's been confirmed.
Yeah.
That like he can't get somebody to buy it.
He says he needs a partner to either buy Loverboy or take on the operations, or else he's going to be out of business in a year.
I think he said by the end of the year, which meant end of 2025.
Yeah,
and
by
I'm
this
like,
year.
What happened in the fall that he was able to save it? Hopefully we get that story told this season, because we know the fans have then been propping it up.
Yeah.
Because
of
since
Amanda.
the scandal, people love Kyle again and just hate Amanda. But I'm like, how did you make it out of 2025?
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess I don't think Kyle was able to let it go.
No, I get that, but like, yikes.
That's my guess. I mean, we'll see what happens, hopefully. I'm putting in an early guess of Kyle just put in another $500,000.
Dumped more money in. Yeah. Or like somebody else helped, like maybe, put in like $100K or something to keep the doors open.
Yeah.
But damn, Kyle's really lucky that the tides turned on his fandom.
He's lucky Carl was a mess, because that honestly made me go to Loverboy's website and be like, do I buy iced tea again? Okay.
Yeah.
So Kenny is like, okay, let's talk about this. Use me as your resource. And Kyle's like, oh, I know my communication's been bad. It's been a bad summer between the business and my marriage. And then Kyle tells Kenny about Amanda spending some nights away. And their 4-year anniversary is next week, which, what a 4 years. And Kenny goes, hey, love Amanda. Great person. Which I love when people start like that, because you just know it's going to end.
I know you're about to say the most insane thing ever. My dad prefaces everything like that. Like, I'm not going to be mean. And I'm like, drop the meanest comment you've ever said. Go ahead.
Love Amanda. Great person. But she's not able to meet you where you're at. So I guess Friendsgiving 3 years ago was the same story. Kyle's always rolling solo dolo. And Kenny tells Kyle to think, if Kyle and Amanda had met today as they were as people now, would they be together? And I was like, honestly, maybe.
No, they would not be together.
You don't think they'd be together?
No, if they met today, they would never be together.
They're not that different of people, though. They
From
just
who they were 10 years ago?
They're just they've never been compatible. You think they are that different than what they were 10 years ago? Kyle is still doing the same bullshit, and so is Amanda.
I think Amanda has a lot more confidence in herself to not be with Kyle just to get confidence.
But I will say she gained that confidence from other girls propping her up about Kyle. So if Kyle had never come into her life, I think Amanda's the same fucking person.
That's a good point. Like, we basically have to unravel the last 10 years of experiences both of them have had. I don't know.
Maybe not, because Amanda probably would have found some other schmuck to marry and maybe moved to New Jersey. But now, I think if they met and Kyle was still on a TV show and was going to make money, yeah, Amanda would still marry him to this day. They've just never been compatible.
I think let's say Kyle was the one on the TV show and like Amanda just like never circled back around. I think Kyle would have had more options and would have found someone way more compatible to him.
Yeah.
But I like how Kenny is pushing the narrative that Amanda wants. Kenny's like, break up with her. Yeah, and Amanda's like, yeah, break up with me.
So speaking of relationships, Kenny's got a girlfriend, Whitney. And Kenny's telling Kyle, look at Whitney. She's always happy. She has a love for life and good energy. And I was like, this guy would not know what to do if Whitney ever had a bad day. Whitney's not allowed to have bad days, which makes me hate Kenny. I hate
100% understand. Like, that's not fair to always put that on her, that expectation that she has to be happy and basically like pull you up or just like lighten your life at any time. That's not her job as your girlfriend.
So Whitney and Kenny have been officially dating for 6 months, unofficially dating for a year. Whitney moved across the country to be with Kenny. She's originally from Minnesota, another Midwesterner. Yay. Do your thing. Yay.
Woo! I just don't feel good about Midwesterners anymore, and it's gone downhill slowly.
You know what? Jesse Solomon really brought back up the stock a little bit. He's all of Midwest. He's all of Midwest.
We started off strong with like Kristen from Michigan. Like, we had a lot of Midwesterners in the early days, and now it's gotten a little more fraught.
I guess, you know what? It's fine. We're fine.
You know what? Whatever. We'll accept you.
Whitney is a sucker for love, okay? She is meant to be a mom and a wife. That's why she did The Bachelor. And she is, let me tell you, Whitney, yeah, we all find love on The Bachelor. I don't know if she knew this, but only one woman out of like 25
the odds
finds
are
love.
Good if you love love.
So, yeah. But this woman's very Midwest. I immediately am like, even if she didn't tell me, I would clock her.
You would clock it?
Oh, man. And immediately I'm like hopeful about Whitney, but I think it's probably going to be a no. If she's attached to Kenny, it might be a kind of a no.
Are you hopeful about Whitney on her own or hopeful about Whitney encompassing Kenny?
I want to see Whitney have one bad day, and then maybe I'll like Whitney. If Whitney's always sunshine and rainbows, it's a no for me, dog.
That'll piss me off, yeah.
But I'm maybe hoping she like stands up to Kenny, and I could be like, yeah, even if she stays with him, I just need her to like get him, you know?
Yeah. Also, I will not judge her for moving to New York City to move in with this man after
Same.
only 6 months because he's tied to a TV show. I would do the same.
Yeah, I'm in. That's fine. Sure.
Yeah.
And he seems rich. There was a picture of him with a private jet. And you're asking me to also be on the TV. I'm in. I'm in.
Yeah.
So she
I would do
could
it for a
be
month.
she could be a secret mastermind. We don't know yet. But I am excited. I'm hopeful.
true.
I'm suspiciously hopeful.
Prop yourself up. Listen, climb that ladder. I'm in.
So Kenny just loves that Whitney is always happy, okay? This woman,
Yay.
can I have her period hits? She is thrilled, okay? Never a bad day.
She probably has to go on vacation so she can be unhappy away from him.
He's never home, so he only sees her when she's happy, which is when she's asleep.
He is like Kyle, and she gets to be Amanda.
I made that up. I assume that's what he means by she's always happy. He's never home. He says, though, his biggest fear is hurting Whitney. And there are some concerns. It's hard for Kenny, okay? I say
Poor
this.
Kenny.
It's hard for Kenny because he's trying to figure out, like, is this the one? And to figure that out, she had to pick up her life and move across the country for him.
Which I kind of do agree. You need to live with someone, know if it's going to work.
Sure. And if he's got a big apartment and I'm not paying rent, I'm in.
I'll come.
I'm in.
But,
We'll figure it out.
You should know if you have serious feelings. I think the one is sometimes like bad ways to talk about if you're going to marry someone because it just feels like there's this like one person you're supposed to be with.
I don't believe in the one.
Insane feelings. It's like, how about we make active choices to want her to be the one?
Yeah. Although, so it is kind of giving Jax and Brittany a little, but
Ooh, yeah.
But they met, and like a week later, she had packed her bags and moved across the country. They've known each other for a year.
And Whitney is successful on her own. She had been on The Bachelor. She probably is an influencer. Like, she is not just like, oh, I'm gonna get a TV show and that's my only thing. Whitney, it seems like, does have a life of her own.
Which we love. So, now we're going to the West Village, okay? And I just want to be clear, all these places are very close together. We're not really going that far. But we do go to the Garret. And I would like to say some insight. I immediately kind of recognized this place and I was like, no way I've been there. But I have been there. It's a speakeasy through a Five Guys. I've been to the speakeasy through the Five Guys in the West Village. I know exactly where it is because I always walk past it. And I'm like, that's the speakeasy. And I've never gone back because the drinks were very overpriced and there was no seating and my feet hurt. But like, it was fine. I have like no notes. It's also been it's been 5-ish years.
That you end up smelling like the peanut oil of the Five
You
Guys.
do.
So
the Five Guys
be careful.
Is very smelly.
They typically are. So like a speakeasy with the Five Guys, that's a tough one.
Yes. It is like hard. There were also, when we were like going in the speakeasy, there were people just trying to go to the Five Guys. And when I was there like 5 or 6 years ago, they didn't have a great figure. They didn't like filter
Separate it well.
Yeah, they didn't do that great.
Yeah.
But you know what?
Tough.
That's fine. That's fine. So the Garret, I didn't know it was called the Garret, so I'm happy I'm learning this. It's a New York City institution, and we're getting the crew together because Kenny's best friend Gavin owns the Garret. And Kenny, creepily, used to have access to the surveillance camera in the Garret, which Whitney's like, please stop saying that. But he's like, I just want to see that. He just wants to see if it was a good vibe.
I would, absolutely would I use that if I had access to it at any bar.
Yeah, that's more a Gavin issue if you want to talk about. Why is Gavin giving the surveillance out?
I didn't really find that creepy by any means. Like, oh, he's like creeping on the girls. It's like, is the vibe good? Should I go there tonight? Yeah. I gotta know. I have heard of people calling bars to be like, hey, how's the vibe?
Yeah, 100%.
Genius.
That's fine. So they're all hanging out. Georgina's talking about how she needs someone in New York City to do her Botox. She learned Tribeca is for people who
are... Wait, no, that's Whitney. Whitney's asking that because they're telling Georgina's the dermatologist. Like, ooh, got my Botox girl now.
Yeah, they all look the same. White women, you know? Anyway. Okay, so Whitney needs someone to do her Botox. And she just learned that Tribeca is for people who are too rich for the Upper East Side, which is... Tribeca's new money, I think. Upper East Side is like old money, you know?
Okay.
But that's it's coming from a transplant, so like grain of salt. But all these people are also transplants, so grain of salt.
Very good point. We haven't met one New Yorker yet. You're right.
So Andrea and Lexi tell Yvonne and Nick that their first wedding anniversary is coming up. And, that's great because Yvonne and Nick are kind of in the same stage. They all met through Lindsay and their lives are like very similar. And they all, Nick says, look like models. Except Nick doesn't really look like a model, but that was so funny.
That was so good. He's like, see, we're all the same person.
Yeah. He's sitting there, the jabroni he is, and he's like, we all look insanely good. And Yvonne is like,
shut up.
Okay. We then cut to Kyle and Amanda, who are walking around the West Village. And they're talking about how the therapist wants to meet tomorrow because the therapist thinks these two are moving backwards in their process.
The fact that they went to therapy today and she's like, 911, come back tomorrow. Oh my God.
So
oh my God.
It's so bad. So Kyle feels more confused. And Amanda's like, yeah, because you're negative the whole time and you're not moving us in the right direction and you're still DJing till 4 a.m. And I was like, listen, if we're moving backwards in therapy, that's not the DJing fault.
No.
Also, why is it all on Kyle? Therapy is about growth from all parties.
100%.
And Amanda...
100%. And also, we know that Loverboy is in financial distress. That man needs to DJ to pay your rent.
Yeah. And Amanda makes a comment about how, I didn't even write it down, but she makes a comment about how she's like always so exhausted after therapy, and that's like not right. And I'm like, no, that is right. Even if you were to do therapy like by yourself, it is an exhausting process. If you don't feel tired and drained, but like a little relief, you're probably not doing it right. But therapy makes you question yourself, which isn't easy. So in the rest of the day, you kind of sit there and think like, are you wrong? And you have to like really do self-reflection.
It's like you dug up everything and now you're sifting through it afterwards. So like sometimes you feel like you got a lot off your chest, but you're not going to feel great. If you feel amazing leaving therapy, your therapist is going to break up with you because you're okay.
That happened to me. Actually, I was telling her about Summer House in one of our sessions, and she said, Alicia, this is not what therapy is for. And I said, but I'm feeling fine. Anyway.
Which, like, that's good. That's good to feel happy. But Amanda, that, like, yes, that is your goal, but you guys are nowhere near being able to leave therapy in a good place. And you need to be okay with it getting worse before it gets better.
Yeah. And therapy is one of those things where, like, if you don't feel good about it, you're not doing the work. It's not dependent on anyone else, even in couples therapy. It's
not the time to like point fingers or tell people. You should be looking at yourself and what you need to change.
Send the therapist these tapes. I'm just kidding. It's over now, but
I mean, thank God we knew that they are divorcing because I could not handle thinking they were going to make it.
Shout out Amanda for texting Bravo PR and letting them know she had to release a statement before texting Kyle. That's awesome.
Thank you so much for making it such a priority on your list that we knew you guys were divorcing.
So Amanda freaks out. This is getting nowhere. She's freaking out too, and she's sweating, and she has to go. And Kyle's like, yeah, because you're wearing a raincoat in summer. And she goes, it's not a raincoat. I was pretty spot on.
That was the best scene I've ever seen in my entire life on Bravo. Because, it's a raincoat. It's not a raincoat. It is a trench, but like, that's a raincoat.
It's a coat that's resistant to water for sure. I don't know what you would define as a raincoat.
To the top.
That's the other thing is it is hot in New York in summer. What are we doing even wearing sleeves? You came out of the subway like that?
Jeans, a trench, button to the top, coming out of the subway. It's September.
That's dangerous. You're going to pass out.
What did you think was going to happen?
It was one of those scenes when, like, there's two people and they're dressed for extremely different weather. This is what I love. One of my favorite things about Los Angeles is that I never know what the weather is like because of how people dress. This was one of those moments where Kyle is in, like, a t-shirt and shorts, and Amanda is in a full-on, heavy-ass trench coat and jeans. And I just don't know what the weather is.
And the way she's like mad at him for her being hot when it's like, take off the fucking coat.
Do you not have a t-shirt under? Like, I have so many questions. Anyway.
I get loving your look so much. You're committing to it for the moment. However, you're going to pass out. Just take it off.
Also, Amanda's look is usually just jeans and a white shirt.
Yeah.
What's the trench coat? Put it
This
over your
wasn't amazing.
shoulders. The trench coat
That
isn't
could help.
trendy. What are we doing? Anyway, so Amanda cries because she's hot in the raincoat. And
Which,
Kyle...
look, if I'm overheating, I'm going to cry too,
Just
but I'm
take
going to
off
do
your
something
coat.
about it at the same time.
And Kyle's just kind of like, what the fuck is happening? And Amanda says she doesn't know what Kyle wants. And if I was Kyle, I would have said, I want you to take off the raincoat.
I want you to stop overheating and freaking out at me.
Instead, Kyle says we're both struggling. Kyle is struggling with his business. Amanda's struggling with the heat. It doesn't matter. We're both struggling.
We're not going to judge, but we are both struggling.
Kyle just wants her to be happy and just feel that she wants to be with him. And Amanda's like, I'm in therapy with you. I'm making effort. I'm not going backwards. You're going backwards in our joint couples therapy. That's how that works.
Which I'm
Question.
like, oh, you blaming him, I think, is going backwards. Like, that's your MO in the relationship, is he is always in the wrong.
I love that we're a team, but he's
100%.
the one pulling us backwards. It's not me.
Yes.
And I can't do anything about, I'm already doing the max.
Because he mislabeled her coat, we're going backwards even more now.
Yeah, and we're all struggling, okay? Can't you see she's gonna pass out any second? Okay, so Kyle asks if they can get going because they have to get to the garret. And Amanda says she's not going. She doesn't want to put on a face in front of all their friends. So Kyle has to go alone.
Oh my God, which, like, classic, it sounds like. It sounds like Kyle is always alone. Kenny told us, it's been happening for at least 3 years.
Yeah.
So it sounds like we're going backwards on your side of the fence too, Amanda. Like, you should be able to show up to drinks with your husband, first off. But also, these are your friends. You should be able to show up to drinks with your friends. And 3, this is your job that you're filming for.
I literally, if not anything else, you're filming.
All 3 of those you should be able to do.
Like,
take the fucking trench coat off and suck it up.
Dock her pay for this. This is crazy. So we go back to the garret. Whitney's talking about coming from Minnesota. She thought New York was so intimidating, but actually people are way more nice and open. And I also find this, Whitney, you and I, we are in the same, because you know why? Because everyone from New York is basically a transplant. So we know what it's like to not have friends. Whereas like in Minnesota / where I was in Chicago, I already had friends. I didn't need new ones. I didn't care if you were new. So.
I just think there's just way more possibilities in New York.
Agreed.
So you can kind of keep trying without feeling like you're truly lost.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, where we grew up, it feels like just a smaller community, a smaller pool. And you're going to run out of resources and people to run through.
And Yvonne is like, and it's exciting to move to New York with your boyfriend. I was like, I guess.
This is a great time.
So Lindsay and Kenny and Gavin, the owner, and Ryan, Lindsay's friend, they all chat a little. And Kenny tells Lindsay that him and Whitney have been dating for a year, but Kenny was being kind of like a playboy for a little bit in that time.
Classic.
And Kenny's, well, maybe it was Lindsay that was like, oh, are you being a playboy? Why wouldn't you commit? Maybe something like that. Because Kenny's like, hold the phone. And he looks around to make sure Whitney's not listening. And he's like, I was going through a lot. My mom passed away. I was going through a challenging time. I was in that version of myself. And Ryan's like, so what stage of grief is the fuckboy stage? Which was so funny. Listen, I could never say that because I don't know Ryan, or I don't know Kenny. So to make a joke about him grieving his mother seems
okay.
But it was funny.
He's the one using it as a card of like why he couldn't commit to someone and why he was allowed to be a fuckboy. You can be grieving and not be a bad person.
Yeah, agreed.
So it's like, come on,
I
my
also
guy.
hate that, like, oh, I can't commit because I'm grieving. I can't love
my
you
thing is,
because I'm grieving.
I'm all in for you not being able to commit while you're grieving. That doesn't bother me because your emotions are all over the place. If you cannot give someone and be a good boyfriend, like, you shouldn't say you can and then fall short. It's that you didn't have to be a fuckboy. You're telling me you were sleeping around during that time. Mm-hmm. And that does not go hand in hand with grief. You did not have to do that.
Believe it or not,
that was a choice.
A lot of people grieve and do stay loyal to the people that they're dating. / like, Yeah, don't have sex. But what do I know? Anyway,
What stage
what do
of
I know?
grief am I missing out on?
It sounds like a
question.
fun one, honestly. I don't know. Can I skip one and replace it with fuckboy stage? Because
Great question. I haven't had to grieve like a parent, so
Yeah.
I don't know. So if
I'd
that
rather
ever
not be
happens to
sad.
me, let me know what stage that is.
I'd rather
Thank
not be
you.
sad. If I can just go straight to from anger to fuckboy, that seems
To
like
sex
Yeah.
all day, every day.
Yeah.
I'm in.
So Kenny says that him and Whitney are just seeing where things go, but they love each other. And Lindsay's like, that's crazy. She moved across the country before a
That
ring,
is so
which
crazy.
is a little crazy.
That
I see both. I see both sides.
the
I
before
get
the
it.
ring isn't crazy. It's that Kenny says we're figuring things out that I find crazy. You move that girl across the entire country and you don't know where you're at.
Also-
like, I'm not saying you need to be at proposal stage, but like you should be a little bit more confident.
He says they love each other. Instead of saying they're figuring things out, he could just say, that's my girlfriend. We love each other. So she
I wanna be
moved
with
here.
her.
Yeah. Why is it
Yeah.
we're figuring things out? That's like giving Kenny an out. And I stand by, I hate Kenny already.
I understand that. I understand that.
And Lindsay just says, from a girl's perspective, this is a lot. And then Yvonne joins, and Lindsay's like, I'm grilling Kenny. And then, like, Lindsay's basically just like, it's a big commitment to move across the country for a guy.
And it 100% is. Like,
Yeah.
Lindsay's right about that. They'd only been officially dating for 6 months. I think it would be crazy if they were engaged.
Also, it seems like Lindsay doesn't know the story. So if I'm talking to a guy
Yeah.
for the first time, and he's like, yeah, she moved across the country for me, and we're figuring it out, I would be like, that's nuts, dude. I don't think Kenny's really giving Lindsay a lot of, like, hope that he's not really selling his relationship.
He's
to
not
her.
clarifying why they wouldn't be engaged at this point.
And also, you know the thing when, like, someone questions your relationship and then you are like, no, this is why it's good, and you defend it. Kenny's, like,
Yeah.
not really doing that. He's kind of
No.
like, it's actually not crazy. And I'm like, well, tell her why. And he, like, won't.
Exactly. Like, Lindsay
Suspish.
is saying a statement why she thinks it would be crazy on the limited knowledge she has of this couple. You'd think he'd either give Lindsay more information to validate why they made their decision or stand 10 toes down in their decision no matter what. And he's just not. He's like getting mad at Lindsay for having an opinion on what she finds crazy.
Yeah, suspicious. So Whitney then comes over, and at first everyone's like, Whitney, go away.
Go away. Which,
but-
like, red flag.
But then Lindsay's like, we're just grilling Kenny. And Lindsay says, or she said to Kenny that in order for Whitney to move across the country without a commitment like a ring, that's a big deal, and he can't fuck around with this. Which, yeah, 100%. And Kenny says, I'm getting I hate men vibes. And Lindsay responds with, I'm just allergic to annoying men.
Oh
Which is
my God.
so
This
fun.
is why I love Lindsay.
And Kenny says, you don't have to be engaged to move in together. And Lindsay goes, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it's a big commitment. And Kenny says, when you love each other, it feels small.
Shut the fuck up, Kenny.
I hate Kenny. Like, I hate him.
Okay, but I love watching Lindsay spar with Kenny.
100%. Because Lindsay's gonna eat him up each time. Because here's the worst part, is I think Kenny thinks he ate with this. And then when it's like, no, there was nothing redeeming about your argument.
100% agree, and I love that. I love a man who is so cocky in his position while he's actively fumbling it.
Yep, terribly.
And Lindsay is just eating him up.
And Lindsay says she only knows Kenny socially. She's just trying to get to know him. So if this is the first thing someone tells me, I'm going to tell you that's crazy.
And listen, Lindsay is abrasive, especially in questioning
Shout
things
out.
and having an opinion. But why can't she be?
This
Deal
also
with it.
wasn't that out of pocket.
No.
This was
no.
kind of in line with what I think most people would think.
People would think. Yeah.
So then Kyle shows up without his wife. Gavin tells Georgina that he has great nail beds, which I didn't know was a thing, but now
I
I'm
didn't either.
questioning myself. And then Kyle and Lindsay talk. And Lindsay tells Kyle that she knows Amanda stayed at a hotel. She says for a couple of weeks, which that seemed... They were originally for a couple of days, remember? Because she was going to meet him at
3
therapy
days.
on Wednesday.
On Wednesday. Yeah, and like they had that talk on Memorial Day.
Uh-huh.
Yikes.
Kyle says he's never not left the Hamptons with her. And he gets really confused in therapy, which that's what therapy should confuse you a little bit. You have to kind of work your way there. I don't know if confused, but like,
they are clearly in completely different books, and so it's hard to be on any one of their side when they talk about therapy because we're not seeing it, and I don't want to see it. I actually think you should keep your therapy appointments private, but it doesn't even sound like they're going in with goals.
They're just arguing, probably.
Yeah.
Or
and
like
they're getting
venting.
more upset at each other.
Yeah, they're just venting about each other in front of each other.
To each other.
To a third party who's listening, right? But we're all in the same room. But
and Lindsay, it's like, so concerned you need to see her tomorrow.
Yeah. But Lindsay says therapy is confusing. You're unpacking years of things you haven't addressed. And then cue walking in Danielle.
Talking about unresolved things. And here's Lindsay's unresolved thing.
It's crazy. At the exact moment, Lindsay has to pee.
And I get that. I would also be that person like, you're not just going to come up and say hi to me. Like,
yeah,
go away.
So Lindsay tells Yvonne that Danielle walked in and she's not going to talk to Danielle because she doesn't need negative competitive energy in her life. And then Lindsay on the couch being interviewed is like, oh, I have notes of everything Danielle has done to me, which is very Lindsay.
Oh my God. And we thought that she was done with timelines. She dropped the relationship timelines and picked up the receipt timelines. Because Girlie said, I have an entire notes app of every single season, year, moment Danielle has ever wronged me.
So in 2019, it's season 4 of Summer House. Lindsay and Carl tried a date. It didn't work out. 1 week later, Danielle gave Carl a hand job in the back of an Uber, which I think we did hear about before this moment.
We did. And also, Danielle, like her PR people in like current times issued a statement saying that never happened. And Lindsay responded going, watch season 4.
Yeah, it was like talked about.
Heavily.
And then in season 7, this is quote from Lindsay's, the screenshot they showed us of the notes. Danielle had an absolute diabolical meltdown that Carl and I didn't involve her in the planning of the proposal that I knew nothing about.
And then, that's actually so funny.
Season 9, Lindsay is pregnant, and the quote from the notes app is, all of the confessionals / dialogue was so brutal that I just couldn't deal with all that negative / competitive / judgmental energy in my life after having my daughter. And Lindsay says, stop shitting on me. Which, Danielle
do you think Danielle is competitive?
I don't think competitive, but I definitely think super judgmental, except when it happens to her.
Okay.
She doesn't like
yeah. I agree, because I don't think she wants Lindsay's life by any means, even though she weirdly is copying it.
I think it was more like, was she jealous that Lindsay was getting engaged and she wasn't? Because Danielle was dating Robert at the time, right?
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know, though. We never saw that, but maybe it was like a separate thing. But Danielle talks to Katie DeLuca, okay, who I don't think I like, but we've only seen in this one clip so far. But just from what I know and her being Amanda's best friend since the 3rd grade, I am, though, very interested in Katie DeLuca. I don't think I like her, but I think I'm interested.
We don't actually, like, get her in this episode, just in this, like, flashback.
They took away her appearance fee in this episode. She didn't get paid. But Danielle says it's weird because Lindsay and Danielle are going through things and they aren't sharing it with each other. And then cut to Lindsay talking to Kyle about how she doesn't even know Danielle's man's new name. Owen, Eon, on, off or on? And in that moment, Danielle comes over and she says, hi. And Lindsay is scared shitless to see it. She's like,
leave me the fuck alone.
And Danielle asks if Lindsay would be open to lunch or coffee next week whenever Lindsay's free. And Lindsay asks if she can think about it because she's busy these days. And Danielle says, I get it. Bye. And that's kind of the end.
That was a good approach.
Yeah.
I do have to hand that to Danielle because she was like, I want to talk to you. Clearly you're upset.
Whenever you're free.
Whenever you're ready.
Yeah. And you can think about it. That's fine.
And the thing is for Danielle, Lindsay does have to sit down and have this conversation because we are filming a reality TV show. And so Danielle looks like the the best person ever,
Yeah.
even though production probably told her to set this up.
Danielle is going to ask on TV because now if Lindsay denies, she looks bad. That's
She looks like the bigger person.
The magic of TV, baby.
Yep.
So Kyle doesn't get it. Like, he's like, I don't get you and Danielle not being friends again. And Lindsay tells Kyle there's so much, and it's just like so weird. Especially
I will say, like, Lindsay doesn't like if Danielle ever has an opinion. But Lindsay can always have any opinion. And I think that's not really fair that you get to do that and she doesn't. But at the same time, Danielle ends up being hypocritical a lot and pretty rude because she won't say something to someone's face. She wanted to be the confessional queen that Paige DeSorbo was, but Paige would say it to your face and probably had.
Mm-hmm. So we also talk about like the hand job situation of 2019. And Kyle's like, that's crazy because hand jobs suck in general. And Lindsay's like, I bet you wish you had anything. You would take a hand job right now. And he's like, I would.
Actually, yeah. Yeah, I'm deprived. We have since found out that Kyle and Amanda did not have sex their entire 4-year marriage. So
I'm going to assume that includes hand jobs.
I'm going to assume it includes everything.
Definitely those hands. At that point, Kyle was begging for He probably looked at Lindsay and was like, if you're offering.
Is Danielle gonna ride in a taxi I can ride with her on the way home?
Do you think she's still doing the back seat? Do you think?
Do you think I could get in? Does she have time?
So now we go to Tribeca. Georgina is working and Lindsay and Yvonne show up and they're like, hey girl, we're going out. And Georgina's like, I'll change out of the scrubs. I only need 5 minutes. Look, I have a cupboard full of my clothes.
Huge.
Which
love it.
Love
Incredible.
Her. So Georgina has a dermatology practice in Tribeca. Sometimes she thinks she's killing it. She is like, I am a doctor. I'm doing big things. And then sometimes her daughter looks her square in the face and eats dog food. And Georgina didn't know what else to do besides make sure it wouldn't kill her daughter. And it turns out lots of protein. So she told her daughter, do whatever you got to do.
They do have to make dog and cat food edible to humans because you'd be shocked at how often humans do eat it.
And you know what? That is a mom. That's a mom.
Hey,
I can't be bothered.
It happens. She's gonna live. Who cares?
She rolls with the punches. She says, eat your protein,
adaptable.
Honey.
Yep.
Yeah. You want to eat it on the floor with your mouth too? Whatever keeps you quiet.
Off.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we're having MILF's night out, okay?
Hell yeah.
Yvonne, Lindsay, Georgina, but we are waiting for Amanda, who's not a MILF, but we'll accept her.
Now there's Yvonne, though.
Oh, that's true. I forget. Because I think in
two
current
moms,
time...
two non. Wives and moms night out.
Great. So Lindsay tells them the drama before Amanda gets here because Lindsay found out from Amanda that Amanda didn't pay rent for 3 years. And Kyle tallied it up tallied it up recently, probably in their fights, and charged her last week and made her pay him, which Lindsay was like, holy shit. And Amanda's like, it's not a big deal. I already paid him the $117,000 that I just had lying around, apparently. And Lindsay told Amanda that might be where the resentment is coming from.
Yeah. Which, listen, if Kyle said he was going to pay for household expenses and he was doing that, fine. But the minute he starts having financial issues and is not taking a salary, wouldn't you want to change that up to help the burden of the household?
I also have a question. They've been living with each other for longer than 3 years.
Yeah.
Was she paying rent before and then stop? I need to know.
That's a good question because Lindsay said 3 years of rent unpaid. They've been married for 4. And they've been in their place. I think they've been in their place for 5 or 6 years. Yeah.
Yep. So now Amanda's here. She got bangs, which means she is single now.
I clocked the same thing. I was like, wow, girly got that breakup haircut well before
single.
She told Kyle they were breaking up.
Yep. So we talk about Yvonne and Nick and how Nick isn't ready to be a dad at the moment. He's nervous. They've been having some bumps in the road. Every time Yvonne brings up kids, Nick pushes off the conversation and Yvonne is annoyed. So you know what she did? She got so annoyed with Nick that she left and went to San Diego and didn't tell him. And then
That's insane behavior.
guess what happened? A few days go by and he didn't even notice she wasn't there, which makes that's where I'm questioning Nick a lot.
Same. But also
And Yvonne
too.
for
Like, what is
staying
your
with him.
relationship like?
How did he not know? I mean, that's nice in a way. It means he's feeding himself, which a lot of men, I feel like, don't do. But
But do you guys not see each other during the week or like on a daily basis? Like, I want to know what your standard day is like to know if he actually should be concerned. Because in the Kyle and Amanda of it all, Kyle goes out till like 4 a.m. and if he rolls in, he rolls in. I could see how Amanda would not even know if Kyle came home. Fine. Is your relationship like that, where you guys are like two ships passing in the night?
I
Or
also
should
have to
he
know.
be concerned that you're dead?
I have to know Yvonne. We just pick up and go to San Diego when you're annoyed. That doesn't
That's
seem
a-
like a great coping mechanism.
No. You're like, I'm gonna stick it to him, and he doesn't even notice. Actually, I would be ruined if I thought I was gonna stick it to my husband by crossing the country and he didn't even notice. I now am a resident of San Diego. We are getting divorced.
But then I'm like, why are the girlies sitting around with Yvonne and being like, men are always the problem? And I'm like, no, I don't know if
You
know what?
You have some fault here.
we gotta say not all men, but always a man in this scenario, because I think a
Yeah.
lot of men might notice.
Well,
Crazy.
whether there are multiple issues here, whether he noticed or not, him being a bad husband, all on his side of the court.
Sure.
You just abandoning and just disappearing without a word, that's also bad behavior.
I'm surprised Lindsay didn't say more about that, because Lindsay does have abandonment issues. But whatever.
Ugh.
Whatever. It's not on these girls to do whatever. Your friendship is none of
we're
my
here
business.
to roast Nick because he also is a problem.
But Amanda then tells Yvonne, just start turkey basting, which I was like, don't
No.
do that.
No, that's not cool to trap a man into a baby he doesn't want. However, you guys should have been having these conversations well before getting married. And I
100%.
fear that Yvonne and Nick's marriage might have just been a band-aid marriage of like, oh, she's like begging me to do it, begging me to have kids, so I'll give her the marriage and she'll get off my back for a little.
Kind of Kyle-ish.
Yeah.
Kyle did something similar with
But Kyle
Amanda.
did want the kids too.
Yeah, he just didn't want the. Well, what's the saying? He wants to be a dad, not a parent, or whatever.
He wants to have kids and a wife, but he doesn't want to be a husband and a father.
Yeah. So, yeah, whatever.
Nick doesn't want any of it. It doesn't seem like it.
And no, he's actively telling his wife he doesn't even know when she's not around for days.
He's like, actually, you can go to San Diego whenever you want.
Yeah, prefer it, because then we're at least not having the kids conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Do they not text? That is the craziest thing
God.
to me. I know when you're married, you don't have to text, but also throughout the day, I would probably just have a lot to say.
And like, are we making dinner together tonight? Like, there's like life moments that are going to happen in the next 48 to 50 hours.
When her
that
side
I feel
of
like
the
we'd be chatting
bed,
about.
her side of the bed was never slept in, and he wasn't like, I wonder
No.
where she is.
He wasn't like, hey, can you pick up my dry cleaning? Or like, hey, I'm going to make dinner tonight. Do you want this or that? Like, there was no conversations about anything going on in your life.
Hey, I spilled on the white couch. What should I do? Like there was nothing. That seems more of a Nick
Nothing.
thing. He would
Yeah.
spill on a white couch. I'm just assuming. I've seen 10 seconds of him in this fucking show. But
I saw on Instagram, your story says you're in San Diego. Even that?
your location says you're in San Diego?
Yeah.
Nothing?
On Apple Text, it literally says you're in San Diego. What's going on here?
Like nothing? Okay. So then we talk about Danielle showing up at the Garrett, and Amanda's like, this is what I heard from Katie DeLuca. It shall never just be Katie. I apologize.
No, and I just think it's so funny her name isn't even Katie DeLuca anymore.
I also, Katie DeLuca, you right off the bat are a bad friend, because if two of my friends are beefing and I somehow manage to stay good friends with both of them, I'm not telling your secrets to the friend you're beefing with. Danielle.
I'm not going to be your source.
No.
You shouldn't be able to first name, last name, drop me as the source too, because Amanda,
On TV.
you're closer. So
On
then
TV.
like, You should be protecting Katie DeLuca a little bit
That's what I'm
more.
saying. So yeah, but Amanda, she's ready to spill. So Katie DeLuca told her that Danielle is moving in with a guy who's still married, and they're talking about kids in the fall, which we're in the fall. So, and that is just the biggest news drop in the world. Thanks, Katie DeLuca, for being a bad
Katie DeLuca
friend.
getting the tea.
Yeah,
Damn.
the town gossip. So then we go to Chelsea, and we're out with Kyle and Amanda because despite moving backwards in therapy and having a 911 call, we are still going to celebrate 4 years of marriage. Not good
Hell
marriage,
yeah.
but marriage nonetheless.
No, because Amanda gets to prove to everybody that they did not get divorced in 3 years. That's what we're celebrating.
Oh, that was great that she said that. That was insane. My jaw
That was actually
dropped.
so funny.
And I said out loud, congrats. Congrats
you
to
really
you.
stuck it to us,
Wow.
babe.
We were wrong, Meredith, because I think we probably thought, this was before we were recording, but I think we thought they would have probably broken up in 3 years. So Amanda, hats off to you, girl. Congrats.
You won over me. Wow, winner, winner.
2 losers on the internet were wrong about you. How do you feel now?
You
You're
gotta
welcome.
stay in a marriage for
Wow.
4 years that you hate.
I don't know how
Congrats.
Meredith and I will recover from this burn.
From losing out
How
on you
epic.
and Kyle being married 1 extra year.
Woof.
Wow.
Yeah, great. You barely made it 4 years, but take the win where you can, I guess.
Get dinner. Go off, queen. You know what? I'll pay for it.
yeah. Let me know the bill. It sounds like y'all are struggling. You can't make rent, and you got a failing business. You know what? As an apology, we'll pay for the drinks and the oysters for sure.
Yeah. On me.
So Kyle feels like they're in a decent place this anniversary because they're in therapy, and he's optimistic.
Oh, Kyle. Yikes.
Kyle feels like they're moving forward in therapy, and Amanda says doesn't feel that way, which I'm like, girl, then self-reflect.
I'm like, what do you think is going to happen that you're going to go to your first therapy appointment? Kyle's going to apologize for everything he's ever done to you. He's going to stop DJing, even though that's how he's supporting your life. And he's going to start coming home at a reasonable hour. You think one appointment is going to do that for you?
You know, if Kyle was petty, he should have said, you know what? Let me stop DJing. The lights will go off in our apartment. Now what do we do, girl? He should.
Yeah, malicious compliance right there.
So Amanda just feels really low after therapy. It's hard to go back to the apartment after. And therapy's just not going the way she wants, which I was like, that's the crazy thing about therapy. A lot of the times it's not the way you want. That's why it works.
Yeah.
You know? But she tells Kyle, happy anniversary. I'm gonna move out. Even if we weren't already like angry at Amanda for the scandal, I really think if they had just edited this episode the same way, if I heard Amanda go, happy anniversary, I'm moving out, Meredith, I'm pretty sure I would have looked at you and been like, what a bitch, dude. She doesn't want to be married to him.
You didn't have to go to dinner with him. You didn't really have to prove it to us that you were married for 4 years and go to dinner with this man just to say you're leaving him.
You don't have to be mean.
No.
Like,
you don't have to be cruel. This is cruel.
This is cruel. Like, this is like really bad.
And you know what I thought about is, I was like, wait a minute. They have touted so hard that they decided to separate at the end of October, right around BravoCon, that I'm like, this is a lie. This is September.
Well, she says it's just for a month. And we aren't ending the relationship. This is to help them. This is their solution.
I immediately was like, I'm going to get out my trench coat, get out my magnifying glass, and I'm going to watch this season and decide every single time that you actually aren't doing that, because there's no way you're moving out of this apartment so you can date each other again and be intentional when I know you're divorced and hooking up with West.
She's not running away. She really wants this marriage to work out. And Kyle goes, okay, like I'm trying to be open-minded. And then he starts to be like, okay, if I agree to the separation, she goes, there's nothing for you to agree upon. And she has this big smile on her face. He goes, okay, if I like give mine. She goes, you can't give anything. I've already made the decision. This is a one-sided partnership, basically.
Which, why can't he agree to you moving out? He's not, I understand if he disagreed, it's like, no, you don't get to do that. Like, I have autonomy over my own life. But him agreeing with you isn't a bad thing.
Also, may I just say, because now we're as Meredith says, we have our trench coats on and our magnifying glasses out. This, I think, as I've talked about before on Summer House, I believe Amanda was Katie Holmes and Kyle because she knew she was going to get this edit, right? She knew she was going to get the Ariana Madix treatment, right? So she is trying to be this strong, independent, amazing girl. And who is she channeling a lot of? A one-Paige DeSorbo, because Paige was very well received by the audience and Paige ate up men left, right, and center, right? Like, if Craig had said, I think you should move in, and Paige said, I'm not moving in with you, we would all be like, yeah, queen, fuck him, you know? So I keep coming back to this. Amanda, though, is not saying this authentically. I think when Paige would go around, or even Ariana, and would say, like, no to their men, or even Katie Maloney, right? It was authentic. They really, truly were like, we're doing this for us because this is what we want. Amanda is saying it as in she doesn't necessarily want or diswant it. She just is doing it because that's what she should do, and that's what's going to get her
there for the
loved.
soundbite. She's like, this will play so well on social media when I'm like, no, I'm making this decision whether you agree or not.
Yeah.
You don't get to speak further. This is a 30-second moment that she's like, this'll hit.
The Bravo girls will love it. They'll eat it up that I'm putting Kyle in his
Strong
place.
and independent, and
Boys
I can do it on my own.
Yeah, boys can't tell us what to do. I'm in charge. But you don't believe it. And that's why reality TV is interesting, even when it's scripted at times, or like we set up these things.
Planned.
You can tell when things are inauthentic. And this is something so inauthentic when she's like, you can't agree with me. She's almost looking at it being like, I know that because I've seen it happen before, and the women will be on my side, and so you don't have to agree. But I also think
it's tough with the narrative coming straight out of Summer House into In the City. Like, we know that they filmed back to back, and obviously they're coming out like in tandem. It's weird we went from Summer House where Amanda talked to Sierra and was like, Kyle will never go for a separation. And then to this conversation where now she's some bad bitch who decides whatever she wants when she wants it. What happened to Kyle will never go for it? You aren't letting him speak, so why did that matter 6 weeks ago when you talked to Sierra?
You know, she could have said it in a way where if she was like, if she's like, I'm moving out, and he's like, if I agree, she could be like, listen, I understand this is like a terrible thing, but I think we really need the space because we're not happy around each other, right? Like, I'm gonna do this, but like, I understand it's hard. She could have said that, but instead she's like, no, I make decisions.
Get to speak. It's like, listen, I could see her being like, I'm not looking for your approval, but I hope you're on board.
Yeah, I hope you understand why I have to do this. But instead, Kyle's like, okay, well, fuck me. Do whatever you want.
Like, okay.
And Kyle says this feels extreme. He's not sold on it, but okay, maybe it's what they need.
Nothing says partnership like not even agreeing to a separation together.
Fuck me, do whatever you want. That is happy wife, happy life right there. You know what I mean? Okay, so that's where the episode ends. So this season on In the City, it looks like Whitney and Kenny, they're moving in together. Lindsay has some questions for Kenny. He doesn't like it. Yvonne wants to be pregnant. Lindsay wants a family and a partner that won't abandon her. Danielle's never been happier, but Lindsay does internet research on Danielle's man. Whitney is done with Lindsay. Yvonne talks to Lindsay about their friendship. Andrea gets mad. Who is Kenny? Someone slept in Kyle and Amanda's apartment. Kyle and Amanda don't have a prenup, but if he comes for her, she'll come for him. Which I said, girl, what are you coming for? The debt? Calm down over there. You got a trust fund. He should come for you. And this is why you always sign a prenup. I can't feel bad for you in 2026 if you get scammed out of your marriage. I understand if you got married in 2000. Sure, we didn't know as much, but we are real life. I'm every day witnessing why we should have prenups. I don't feel bad for you.
Couldn't agree more.
Your dad told you to get a prenup and always listen to your
Kyle
parents.
wanted one, and
Kyle
she
wanted
said
one.
no.
So he should come for you, and you come for nothing, hopefully.
Also,
Anyway.
is that a threat? Girl, you threatened him first.
Also, yes. Yes, it's a threat back to you. You
I'm
moved
matching your
out.
energy right now. What?
You have enough money. You gave me $117,000 on the fly. Of course I'm coming for you.
Instantaneously.
You're secretly hooking up with one of my best friends. Of course I'm coming for you.
Yeah,
I don't
he
care.
doesn't know it yet, but that isn't even his biggest problem.
You moved out and didn't let me have an opinion, and then you were crying about a raincoat. Of course I'm coming for you. Great. I'm coming for that raincoat. Hell yeah. Okay, so we always love to pick our favorite and least favorite of the episode. We always try and do a theme. So this theme that Meredith and I came up with is, Meredith, who do you want in the city and who do you want out in the suburbs?
Yep.
And you get to go first because it's an odd number. So.
Okay. Let's go in the city first.
In the city.
My girl Lindsay. I'm thrilled to have her on my screen in a different environment than Summer House.
Oh, love Lindsay. Okay, who's your in the... Oh, should I go?
You do, you're in the city. Yeah.
Okay. I would have also picked Lindsay, but we do alternating so that one of us we can do different ones and one of us will always pick
unless
different.
There's a resounding pick.
I'm going to go Georgina because I am excited she seems like a career-driven bad bitch mom, and I love that she's honest about, like, my kid was eating dog food, and you know what? I can't be asked about it. Yeah. Love
Respect.
that. So I'm going to go with Georgina, and she's the newbie that I'm, like, most excited to learn about.
Yeah. So
who's in the
suburbs? I'm sending Amanda. Go to New Jersey, babe. Like, that was diabolical to show up in a raincoat and then be mad that Kyle pointed it out. Like, you fucked yourself with that.
Yeah.
And then to break up with your husband on your anniversary, that's too far even for me.
She's not breaking up with him. She's just running away from him.
She's like, hey, I'm moving out so we can be more in love.
Yeah.
Sure.
I hate you so much. I cannot even stand to be near you while the divorce papers are being typed up. I have to get out.
Yvonne went to San Diego because she loved Nick so much. So I'm just going to move a few blocks down the street. Like, it's no big deal.
She was at the MILF's dinner and she got the idea and she went, genius.
Genius.
What if I moved out?
What if I said, I won't go for just a weekend. I'll go for a month, but I will stay close. Like, he'll agree to that.
And I'm gonna tell Kyle just so it hurts. Even though he probably wouldn't even notice if I wasn't around. I can't have that. He has to know that I'm gone.
Actually, I kind of would have respected her more if she just left in the middle of the night.
I'm gonna choose Kenny because he seems like a fucking nightmare. I hate him so much. Sorry.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
He is not my favorite. But also Amanda was a good pick. I would have picked her too.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm a little excited. I do think I'm gonna get these people super mixed up, so I apologize that I'm
That's okay.
in charge of the notes, but Meredith's always here to check me.
To correct you.
Yeah, which is my favorite thing that we do on this podcast. I love being wrong. But okay, we will be covering the whole show. Fortunately, unfortunately, we'll see. It's up in the air.
And they get a reunion. Did you see that?
Oh, no, but you texted it to me. I did not see anything about this.
Here we go.
But
buckle up.
I texted you back and I said, that's incredible because Bravo is just keeping their neck on Amanda because the best thing for Amanda would be to float into oblivion and they won't let her. And by association, Wes is going to have to deal with more backlash, which is awesome.
Yes, because Summer House reunion filmed before In the City came out. So nobody knew the hypocritical statements from In the City. So now she's got to dodge all of that. And she's on Danielle's neck for what Amanda's presently doing. So it's like, you're just picking up enemies like they're like stones on the ground. Like, you're just like, let me get more and more and more.
I can't wait to see how Katie DeLuca defends her. That'll be...
I can't wait to meet Katie DeLuca,
I can't wait. I'm actually very excited. Me too. But yeah, excited for the season. Do all the things. And with that, love ya.
Thanks for joining. Bye.